My boy. Welcome in, Cowboys Nation, the Cowboy Game Day Live here from Kanvas Sports and Social. As you can hear, the Cowboy fans and the downtown goers are turning up for tonight's Latin night. And the Cowboys walk away out of this thing with a victory. But you had an interesting tweet, 20-15 to move to 2-2. We did say, just got to get out of here with the dub.
Yep.
But sometimes you may win the battle, but lose the war, what you said?
You lose some soldiers.
Lose some soldiers within the war. And, boy, it was just like, man, let's just get up out of here. Micah Parsons goes down. Trayvon Diggs went down. Tank Lawrence went down. It just was like, can we get up out of here, get this 10 days, and hope these guys are okay, because you're going to need them in this stretch run. It's going to get a lot harder than what you saw today, which, honestly, you know, obviously we all were feeling a little uneasy about the game, and it was an uneasy game, but I thought we'd pull away, and it was a fight tooth and nail literally to the last play, which I didn't expect that, though.
You know, and that's, we can take from this game the victory, right? And be happy.
Because you needed it.
In that you needed it, and you kind of needed to to calm the noise just a little bit in the building around your football team. But I have a sneaky suspicion when we go back and we kind of really put a fine-tooth comb to this game and watch this game on the tube, we're going to see a lot of things that we do not like.
Yeah, I mean, because you could just think about it off the top of your head. I mean, let's go look at...
Let's start here first.
11?
Let's start with the penalties.
11.
Let's start right there first with the penalties in this football game. And, you know, while we talk a lot about what we have and what we don't have defensively, it's going to be an issue at this left tackle position. Tyler Guyton is going to cost this football team either a game or a quarterback. I mean, because I get it, he's a rookie, and we have to go through all the rookie ups and downs. But boy, when you're a constant turnstile or you're a penalty waiting to happen, you can't have 4 or 5 offensive holding penalties in a football game. You can't do it. You stall drives, you got some big plays called back, and again, thanks be to God we were going up against Daniel Jones, because you gave the Giants more opportunities to go out there and make plays because you stalled drives for your team offensively. And they had to punt the ball away, or they couldn't succeed down the football field or put more points on the board. Against a better quarterback, against a better football team, that might put your team in a losing situation. So for the Cowboys, they're going to have to address that left tackle position and those penalties. This is an undisciplined football team, and undisciplined football teams get beat.
And it's not like, oh, well, it's just this game. No, this has been every game. Every game. We talked about the penalties coming out in the game for the first 3 weeks, and now you got 11 in this game. Now, honestly, if you don't have these 11 penalties, you're likely winning this game at least 27, maybe 30 to 15. Right. So they clearly cost you points, just flat out. And I don't really know the answer to this, because it's been that way since McCarthy's been here. The Cowboys have been an undisciplined team. And again, like you said, luckily, you're playing a team that you're better than. Yeah. You know, you're better than the New York Giants. You expected to come in here and get a win. Did I expect it to come down to the last play? Maybe not. But it is what it is. You got the victory. But I think you're right, man. I think you're going to go back, and when you said you go through with a fine-tooth comb, you're going to come away like, oh, man, there's more things we need to clean up than not. And we usually say in these situations, you rather do it in a victory.
100%. You do.
You rather do it in a victory.
And another thing is, this football team struggles at tackling. Like, they're tackling.
Yeah, what happened? The Cowboys used to be one of the best tackling teams.
Coming into this game, the Cowboys missed 37 tackles in the last 2 games. I feel like after this game, it's going to be around 50, right? Heading into the Pittsburgh game. This team is wildly inconsistent in tackling the footballer. The guy who has the ball, this team has struggled with bringing him down. And again, as you play better competition, as you play more superior athletes, those type of things come back to bite you in the butt. When you got a guy in your grasp, behind the first down marker, got to bring them down. You got to behind the line of scrimmage, you got to bring them down. Because if you don't, again, you will allow that team to extend their drives. This defense was on the football field for a long, long time. I'm sure the Giants won the time of possession when you look at it.
By 11 minutes.
By 11 minutes. By 11 minutes.
Defense
Again,
couldn't get off the field for a while.
Thanks God we were playing Daniel Jones. Because when you have 11 minutes in your favor at time of possession,
that's usually a loss.
That's usually a loss. Yeah. Against the better teams, they're actually turning that into touchdowns, at least a touchdown or two. The Cowboys were able to hold the Giants to 15 points, 5 field goals. But when someone holds the ball for that long, and there were multiple drives that were over 6 minutes long, those usually turn into touchdowns. And one touchdown, if the Giants could have got a touchdown, beat your football team.
Yeah, game over. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for the Cowboys, again, thanks be that we were playing Daniel Jones, but there are some things that they have to get better at. The discipline, with the penalties and absolutely the tackling. But I'll take the victory.
So you were spot on this. One stat. You tell me one stat without watching the game, you would know if the Cowboys won or lost.
Yep.
Daniel Jones, 40 attempts. If I tell you he's going to throw the ball 40 times,
they lose.
They lose, and they lost. Daniel Jones didn't throw a touchdown, threw for an interception, and he did exactly what we thought he'd do. He spammed Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, Devin Singletary. That was their entire offense this whole entire game. And to their credit, it was moving the ball, but to the Cowboys' defensive credit, they held them out of the end zone in the red zone. Much better on the ground. I mean, talk about a complete 180. You held them to 1.1 yards per carry. I mean, this has to be top 5 maybe all time for the Cowboys ever. 1.1?
Yeah, that's good deal right there.
To go from top 5 worst ever to top 5 best, 1.1, which again, I told you I was not scared of this run game. I just didn't think they did anything. They weren't a hat-on-hat team, and their scheme wasn't that great. I felt like you could deal with it. Shouts out to Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith, I think when we go back, I think this is going to be his best game
in a long time.
Of his career.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, this is going to be the best game of Mozzie Smith's football NFL playing career.
Yeah.
So good stuff for him. I do have a quick update on Michael Parsons. His ankle is not broken.
Good.
So that's a good thing. So maybe we're looking at potentially a sprain.
But if it's a high ankle sprain, that's like almost.
It could keep him,
that
out
might
for
be
a long
almost.
time.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they say you rather off breaking the ankle
than you gotta break it than sprain
high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
So that's still. That's still in
so
the
we'll
play.
see. The jury's not out. That we're not in the clear just yet, but it's not broken. And you do want to hear it's not broken because it could break in a sense that Tony Pollard. Remember, he had the break
and the ligament
damage, and that's a bit scary. You don't want things going through the skin. It tore the skin and everything. So, not a broken ankle, possibly a sprain, hopefully a mild one, and we'll see what's going on moving forward. But
what about any word on D-Law? I know that he came back out of the locker room, but he never came back into the game.
Taped up his foot and never went back in the game. So just guessing, it seems like 10 days should be. He might be back out there, but
I hope. And that's always when you're talking about guys like Tank and like Micah, you're talking about guys who consistently have to push off foot, ankle, right?
Yeah.
I have to brace myself, and I'm not bracing myself against a tight end or a running back or a receiver.
300-something pounds.
300-something pounds, and so that's always a thing that you concerns you going forward, just about how stable and how sturdy those parts of the body will be for them going forward.
Your 3 top defenders all went out and exited this game at one point. Trayvon Diggs, you saw at the end of the game, he was grimacing a little bit. Fortunately, it was just cramps.
Dehydrated, yeah.
He was dehydrated, so hopefully maybe he cramped up again or whatever. But Diggs went out for a minute.
Too much of that Don Julio. He had a birthday last week. He might have had too much of that Don Julio.
Maybe. And he had to go in there and get flushed out with the IV.
Had too much of that Azul.
I think they got the Don Julio going on out here.
The Azul, the Don Julio, what they call the Azul, the Reposado.
Whatever. Whatever. But thankfully, it wasn't nothing serious on his case. And like you said, Michael went out. D-Law went out. When Diggs went out, though, oh boy. Andrew Booth got put in the booth like we thought he would be. He got benched for Amani Omarare. We'll just call him Amani.
Yeah, Amani.
Amani gave him a couple catches, but he wasn't getting cooked like Booth was getting cooked down the field,
Right.
and then he finally made the play to end the game. So good stuff for Amani. I'd imagine Booth is going to get demoted. They'll probably bring Amani up. I'm shocked, though. We did not see Israel Mukuamu. He was literally the next guy on the depth chart. Is he? I wonder if something's going on in practice, if he's just not, they don't really view him as a boundary corner in the system.
Maybe they moved him back to safety and said, we're going to keep him at safety.
Maybe, but I was really shocked not to see Izzy get the call up. So that was something to consider there.
And for the cornerback note, Deron Bland, this is 4 weeks for him.
4 weeks. They can open up the 21-day window on Monday.
So
Coach said they'll see after the Pittsburgh game where he's at,
okay,
and maybe before the bye week or after the bye week.
Okay.
But you need Deron Bland back.
You need him.
As for the offense, really weird day, right? Because Dak was dotting them. 22 for 27, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2.
Yeah.
125 quarterback rating.
We in Route 222.
222. And it was like, how many times we like,
yeah, we did that.
we're like, but we wait for the separation at some point, and it was just getting frustrated because it's like, frustrating not in the sense that we were glad they were completing it, but we like, okay, why do we keep running curl routes to Brandon Cook? 'Cause he's 5'0", 185 pounds, and we're running curl routes where the cornerback will run through him, and that's not his thing. And then when you finally run into the bigger receivers, Jalen Tolbert is able to play through the catch, and because that's what they can do. And it's just like, at what point are you going to stop trying? Well, he's going to throw into the window because he has to, but at what point are you going to try to draw something up where somebody is a little bit more open? But fortunately, Dak was able to get through it and dice him up and get out of here with a very efficient day.
But Mike McCarthy is making football really hard for his quarterback.
Oh, my God.
He's making it really hard for his quarterback, making it really hard for his receivers, because while Dak was on a rope, was lacing that thing in there, this is going to be one of the things that we go back and we look at and we go, still no separation. There's still not like.
You know how hard it is to get separation when it's a curl, slant.
I'm with you. I am 1,000% with you. But this is the thing that you have to be able to see from your football team. You got to be able to turn on the film and go, I have to find a way. Malik Neighbors didn't have problems finding.
Oh, they was moving that boy everywhere.
And that's the thing that I look at and I go, with how we see, because that's the thing that bothers me the most, is that I turn on my TV and I use my football eyes and I go, boy, Jamar Chase doesn't have issues getting open.
Juwan Jennings had 150.
Like these guys don't have issues creating separation for their number one guys across the league. And I'm like, I know I'm not crazy, maybe a little bit, but I'm not all the way there. And I find it very frustrating. And I'm like, you mean to tell me there's nothing that you can do? We always say this. You can steal from other people in this league. They literally say the NFL is a copycat league. You have to find ways to get your receiver, your number one receiver, some more free open looks so that he's able to create the separation. But like to your point, lining up and running curl routes all day isn't it?
Yeah, and you're helping out a depleted secondary.
And what's going to end up happening is that there's going to come a point in time where Dak is slightly off, and he's not on the rope, and he's not throwing frozen lasers, and that ball gets intercepted or tipped up or whatever it may be, and then they'll say, see, Dak Prescott, da-da-da. And they're like, damn, coach, you ain't helping your boy. You ain't helping your quarterback out in this situation by consistently giving them these tight window throws for his receivers.
Yeah, it's reoccurring theme. We're 4 weeks in, and hopefully by the bye week they go back, they look at everything, and they come out of here next like they did last year and use a little bit more. I did see them, feels like for the first time, but I'm pretty sure it's not. They did the pop motion in the second half a little bit, that exit motion with Cooks on a big third down. I can't remember if they converted it or not. Actually, they didn't. It was the play where I think Terrence got beaten. Terrence was having a good game until that play, and Dak rolled out and he threaded the needle again. But CD had kind of alligator arms a little bit on that play. But yeah, they're going to go back. They're going to see it, and hopefully they adjust to it. I did see a little bit different formations, but I didn't see different passing concepts.
Yeah.
It was still that way, and hopefully hopefully going forward, we're not expecting him to thread the needle so much against better defenses, because at some point, get that hand in there, tip, interception, and like you said, oh, Dak Prescott sucks. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
On the ground, good day for Rico Dowdle. 11 carries, 46 yards, average 4.2 a pop, and beyond what you see in the box score, it was a run where he was patient, was shifty, got downhill, and he's getting positive yards.
The yardage isn't eye-popping, but when you go back and you watch, it was when he had the runs.
Yeah, it was efficient.
It was the runs that you needed that run. You needed 5 or 6 yards on that down, and he got them for you. Like I said, yeah, you look up and you go 11 carries for 46 yards. Not an eye-popping day. Not a day that you would go out there and be like, well. But when you go back and you watch, you goes, when they needed that 7, he got you 7. When they needed that 6, he got you 7. When he needed that 5, he got you 5 in those moments in time. And so while the numbers aren't gaudy, it was when he was making those specific runs that gave the Cowboys an advantage at some point at points in time in this game in the running game.
And given the situation you're at with your run game in regards to the scheme, the play calling, the blocking,
boy, our standard is low now, boy. Our standard is low, boy.
4-2, you give me 4-2.
Our standard is low, boy.
And I ain't talking about a 40.
Yeah, our standard is low, boy. They like give us something.
Just give me 4-2. If you can give me 4-2 all day on 15, 16 carries, I promise you I ain't gonna complain no more.
Our standard is low now,
Would
baby.
Would they still have big? Lord, please just give me 4-2. But unfortunately, finished with 3-5 on the total tank. Yeah. But just give me 4-2 by somebody with 10 plus carries. Man, I've lowered my standards from that situation. I know what we have to do offensively. It's going to be Dak dotting you up and the run game giving you just a little something. Yeah. It's just not going to be like that. The most concerning thing to me, though, offensively, was the left tackle. You just got to go through it. I think. I don't think they're going to bench him. Don't let this turn into a mini, and I don't want to. We shall not say his name, Voldemort, because it was getting there a little bit. And I know people are going to say, "Man, that's not holding." It's really okay. Ignore it. Ignore the actual penalty. He was beat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was beat. That's the real issue. And
here's what also happens.
A lot, like over and over and over.
Right. But here's what also happens when you've been a victim of holding so much. When it even looks like holding the ref goes, that had to be holding.
Williams syndrome.
Right, like so, and that's another thing is like when you have a reputation of that's what you do, even sometimes when it may be phantom, you're gonna get pegged for that one because it looked like it and you did it 3 other times before. So that's becoming to sound like Pusha T. That's becoming a stench. That's on Tyler Guyton right now.
Yeah, Tyler Smith had penalty issues when he came in, but Tyler Smith was whooping people.
Right.
Like he was whooping people in the pass and the run blocking game. You're going to go through these growing pains on that left side, but you need to also see some ROI.
Are these growing pains? Are these growing pains?
Or is he a liability?
Or is this exactly? Like, because to me, growing pains is
Cooper Beebe.
Right.
It's Cooper Beebe. Cooper Beebe's going through growing pains, but Cooper Beebe's winning a lot.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, are these growing pains, or is this just really bad at what he does? In a sense, because I get growing pains. I understand it, but like, my boy, you're getting beat a lot. And when you're not, when they're not getting to the quarterback or getting around you, you're holding. I don't want to be hard on them, and I want to be harsh. But sometimes we got to call it what it is. Is it growing pains or?
I think it's spurts where it's growing pains, and then there's spurts where he's just getting dominated.
I'm gonna stay with you and say it's growing pains. I'm gonna cut on some slack. Yeah. I'm gonna give him a couple more weeks.
He's not losing every rep, but he's losing more than you would like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's losing more than
I'm going to cut him some bail, and I'm going to say growing pains. I'm going to come off my stance and say growing pains and give him a few more weeks to see if he can't figure this thing out.
I've said this before, and it's I got blinded by the hype.
Look at me growing, though. Acknowledge my growth.
You definitely are growing.
Acknowledge my growth.
You definitely are.
Because I don't thank you. I appreciate that. I don't normally come up off my stance sometimes, but I'm willing to say I'm gonna pull back a little bit and give the young man a couple more weeks.
You call that growth.
Growth.
I said this going into the season before I got blinded by kind of the hype in training camp was Tyler Guyton in week 12 would be better than Tyler Guyton in week 1. I still sit on that. But my main point was Tyler Guyton's a 2025 outlook.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it's playing out. He's gonna have to go through what he's going through, and you'll benefit from it hopefully by end of season, but definitely in 2025.
Okay.
You want to make sure though that your offense isn't being handicapped by it.
Yeah.
And right now, it's hard to tell because you're just not getting enough from the offense. You're just like if I told you, Jesse, Dak is 22 for 27, 222 yards, 8.2 yards, 125 rating, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Your whole offense didn't turn the ball over at all. You'd think you would have scored more than 2 touchdowns in this game, right?
I do.
You scored 20 points.
I do.
So there's a multitude of things. It ain't just Tyler Guyton.
Correct.
It ain't just Dak Prescott. It ain't just CeeDee Lamb. There's a multitude of things playing factor. Penalties. You're not getting enough big plays. You got CeeDee Lamb is your only big plays this year. You know, CeeDee Lamb in week 2, CeeDee Lamb this week. They gotta figure out how to be able to strike fast, because what's happening is teams is like, oh, all right, we'll let you matriculate because now I know you're getting a penalty. There's not even a guess anymore.
Right.
You're going to get a penalty, or a sack is going to happen, or a mistake is going to happen. So they got to go back to the drawing board and figure out how they can strike quicker. My answer to me, more CeeDee Lamb downfield on better concept routes. Get Kevontae Turpin downfield. Stop using Brandon Cooks on these goddamn stop routes and comeback routes. Get him more downfield. Use your Jalen Brooks and your Jalen Tolberts in those roles. Threaten this defense vertically with your guys that can get vertical, and maybe that backs off this defense, and maybe you can create some lanes for your running backs to pop off bigger runs. But until then, teams are just going to sit back and let you try to matriculate down the field and get a holding penalty or something like that.
Yeah. Offensively, this thing, I said it all during this week. I said it even this morning because I went back and I watched some of the Ravens game, and it just felt like offensively it was a strain. Like it just felt like it was
4 weeks in a row.
Like nothing felt easy. Everything felt like we had to have it right now. And so I just want the Cowboys to find some sort of way to get some.
And it should have been that way against a depleted secondary.
Yes.
Cordell Flott is not like that.
Right.
It should have been that way. On the defensive side of the ball, boy, if Micah does have to miss time, Cowboys Nation, the pass rush is an issue.
Now you know what? Sometimes there is a blessing in disguise.
Okay.
Because if Micah has to miss significant time, and I don't know what side of the fence that you sit on this, but your GM may be forced to go and make a signing,
make a move,
because you cannot have the deficiency that you've had in the middle of this defense. Now Mozzie played better today, and we'll go back and we'll watch it again.
Absolutely.
To make sure.
Best game of his career.
But no Micah Parsons.
Banged up DeMarcus Lawrence.
You have nothing coming off. There's nothing on the practice squad. There's nothing coming back from injury. And those two guys have to miss a significant amount of time, or either one of them have to miss a significant amount of time.
So you're saying maybe this forces them
now to have to maybe go sign somebody of significance. Not some guy off someone else's practice squad, not some guy that's been on the couch for the four weeks of the season, eating bonbons, picking in between his feet. But a guy who's actually a good football player.
Daniel Jones dropped back 40 times and was only sacked once. I don't think I recall that happening in the matchup with the Cowboys and Daniel Jones in the last couple of years.
Never.
They usually get to him 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
And you could put the interception there, but that was a Hail Mary type thing at the end of the game, right? You take it, but it's not like that came in a desperation mode. He was
comfy cozy.
That's what I'm saying. He was back there chilling like, hey.
He was comfy cozy.
He like, man, I'm gonna make me an espresso. Forget about it. He was back there making cold cut sandwiches and all that. So I
think this is going to challenge Mike Zimmer. That is, if they don't, and I don't foresee them going to get a difference-making player, pass rusher. So I think it's going to challenge Zimmer to dial it up sending them. And he was sending some, I saw slot blitzes that weren't getting there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, now they did send, they sent Wilson. He got a pressure and got it off. But, man, if you don't have a Micah Parsons, and Micah was dealing with doubles and triples and chips and dips. And
that's what I'm saying.
You need something to take the pressure off of him, man.
Micah is such a supreme athlete that with the double and triple teams, he was still trying to find ways to create pressure.
Yep.
When you deal with somebody who is less talented, those double and triple teams eliminate them. They're not good enough to overcome that like Micah. They're not good enough to one step the Thomas and get inside.
Yeah,
they're not good enough to do that. So you're gonna again, and that's only if those guys
and
have
he's
to
not
miss.
going to win every rep. So if he's not winning every rep, which at this point, you know, we are expecting him to because he's the only juice. But in reality, you're just not going to win every single time. You need other guys.
You gotta go and
just step up.
And you know, you made a suggestion earlier, and I pushed back on it. But I've been thinking about it, and maybe.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, if you can, because if anybody can sell a sign on snake oil and say, just come on in here, my good brother. We'll revisit the whole contract situation. We showcase you to the team. But if Hassan Reddick doesn't want to be in New York, Dallas, you know, we can showcase you, man. And we said this before. Even if you do sign a Mike or whatever, you still need another pass rusher anyway.
So now the next question is, what's the price?
I think that's something you think about in the next offseason because you're trying to win. Well, I'm trying to win, Jesse. You're trying to win, Jesse. I don't know what they're trying to do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm trying to win, so I'm 100% getting on the horn because, brother, Detroit's coming up. San Francisco's coming up. The Bengals are coming up. Jaden Daniels is coming up. And if you got a hampered pass rush that can't get home, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got, man. So for our instant reaction, obviously tomorrow we'll react some more to it. And over the weekend we'll look through the film and we'll come back Monday and we'll have more detailed opinion on what we've seen. But interesting enough, I said just get out of here with the dub. It doesn't matter how you do it. I just wish the how didn't include you getting banged up as much as you did. That's really the stench for me.
Right.
They've played pretty much how they played this entire season offensively, in my opinion, for the most part. Defensively, they were much better against the ground, which, again, I didn't expect the Giants to be that good. I also didn't expect Dan Jones to just be comfortable back there. But they got out of here with the dub. Build on top of it, and hopefully in this 10 days rest, you get the Steelers, and I think that would be a significant victory to really give you some real confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you 100%. The Cowboys, they got the much-needed victory because you didn't want to fall to 1-3 on the season with that being, a loss in the conference and a loss in the division, right?
Right.
And there are some good things that you'll be able to pull from this game. CeeDee Lamb kind of found his rhythm a little bit after the week of complaining. It seems like that's the way to go for him. I complain a lot, I get the ball a lot. Like if I complain, I get the ball. Complain, I get the ball. But there is still a lot of questions for this football team.
Yeah.
And I think when we sit down and we dissect this thing, it's going to be a lot of the same thing that we've repeated before.
You just played a team that didn't take advantage of the others.
You played a team that was less than you in talent, and they played you close. They played you down to the last second. We found out today that Brandon Aubrey is mortal. He's mortal.
I didn't even bring that up. I meant to bring it up.
He's mortal.
So we'll maybe touch on it for a quick second.
Yeah, go ahead. Terrible decision.
Weird coaching decision to me. And
Terrible.
maybe it's not enough time to explain it because I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you'd have been mad if he didn't kick it. No, because before we even went out there, we were like, hey, pin him, punt it, pin him back. They got 23 seconds to go, 90 yards with no timeout.
Like you said, take the false start.
So I said take 2 false starts, back up 10 yards, and pin them because even if you make the kick, you kick the ball out of bounds, now they're on the 30.
Right.
All you did was a 10-yard difference, and they still need to score a touchdown.
Right.
Whereas if you pin them back, they got to go 90 to score a touchdown with 0 timeouts, as opposed to if I get a 25-yard completion, I'm in distance now.
Right.
I'm in striking distance. So McCarthy with his usual weird game management there, maybe overconfidence in Aubrey, and honestly, you send Aubrey out there, you would think automatic, but even if he makes it, you're putting them in position to win the game.
It's not that he's automatic. It's not that you felt like he can miss it.
Forget the result. It's about the process. The right
thing that was supposed to happen was, hey, okay, cool, because like the field goal you still put yourself in a position where you could have lost this game. You see what I'm saying? Like, the smart thing to do, the right thing to do, even though RB was good at what he did up until that miss, the right thing to do was punt the football.
Coffin corner him.
Like, that's the right thing to do. And too often we're seeing Mike McCarthy, even before the half, trying to get some extra points on the board before they, Mike McCarthy, we find ourselves scratching our head about some of his time management and decision making when it comes down to those crucial moments in the game.
Yeah.
Can't have that. Can't have that, man. Football is too.
It comes down to those decisions.
It's too many things that got to happen in the football game. I can't afford for my coach, who's supposed to be in his right mind, thinking all aspects of the game, to consistently be messing up certain plays.
My intrusive thoughts were going through my head. Like, I just kept thinking about somebody running behind 27 and the next catch, and I'm like, good Lord.
I mean, like it almost happened.
It almost happened, yeah.
It almost happened.
Yeah.
We almost had a Stephon Diggs miracle in the Meadowlands. It did a miracle in the Meadowlands. But unfortunately it didn't. Yeah. We'll take the win. We won't be Debbie Downers. We won't be wet blankets. We'll take the win.
The thing I'm most down about is the injuries.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I hope Micah and Tank are fine, because you cannot afford to lose those guys. Can't do it. That'll do it, though, for us, Cowboys Nation. Appreciate y'all for coming out here at Kanvas, and appreciate you guys for tuning in for all the game day live. I'll let you flex. I ain't feeling flexy on this one. But
I'm taking these wins how I can get them, baby. I'm taking these wins how I can get them, baby.
I'll hit you with the NWO.
Hey.